Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Alright, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you from very sunny, very cold Beaumont, Texas. Happy Sunday, January 14th. It is really sunny, very nice outside. I'm very happy with the weather today. Had a nice morning. Mama made some breakfast. Life is good. My baby's happy. I'm happy. Everybody is good. So it was brought to my attention in my last video that I gave a shout out to Mr. Sean Gomes, the creator of Uncharted Worlds, and I thought I had done a review of Uncharted Worlds. Well, steal my steak and call me hungry. I can't find that review on YouTube nor in my files, and I could have swore I had done a review of Uncharted Worlds. So, through the powers of YouTube and recording, bam! Uncharted Worlds coming at you this morning. Video du jour, RPG goodness. Mr. Mean makes it happen. Remember that. First and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out to Lieutenant Joker, my newest subscriber. He evidently underwent some eye surgery, and I think he's in Germany, and he's been posting a couple comments on my The Dark Eye reviews. I've got several reviews up for The Dark Eye, and those of you that follow my channel know it's one of my all-time favorite games. And so I'm hoping to be able to run something on Fantasy Ground for a couple people. It'll be very impromptu. It won't be anything like super official or anything. It'll just be for fun. And we'll run a quick session, you know, for maybe a couple hours on Fantasy Ground, probably using Discord, as that is my video and voice software chat du jour. I just love the word du jour. Have you noticed that? Anywho's, so big shout out to Lieutenant Joker. Speedy recovery for your eye surgery. I hope to get to chat with you soon and or game with you soon, because I loves me some Dark Eye. Anyway, this video is going to be on Uncharted Worlds. This was kickstarted and hit publication the first edition October 2015. And it's 175 pages. It is written by Sean Gomes, not Gnomes, as I said in my earlier video. I do apologize for mangling your name. I am from Brooklyn, and, well, walking upright is a challenge for me. So don't feel bad about your name, dude. I'm sorry. Anyway, I had given Sean a shout out for this awesome game because this is one of my favorite Powered by the Apocalypse games. I bought it on Drive-Thru RPG, and I printed it out. I think it's supposed to be a small form factor, like the size of Savage World books, judging by all the dead space on the paper, as you can see there. But unfortunately, I didn't want to get it cut down. Eventually, one day, I'll get a hard copy for my library. This is a play copy. And so, what is Uncharted Worlds? This is a Powered by the Apocalypse. For those of you that don't know, probably the most popular game that a lot of people would know is Dungeon World, and that's basically what this is in space. This is a phenomenal game. If you like free-form games where the players can go and do what they want for the most part, and you can focus on telling a story, if you're a storyteller, if you like to narrate awesome scenes and you want a set of mechanics that will facilitate that, this is your game. And you like, yeah, of course you want a sci-fi setting, this is your game. What's nice about this is with the inclusion of options, you can make it hard sci-fi, you can make it sci-fantasy if you wanted. The sky's limited, because it's basically a framework. What you do with it, how you fill in that framework is up to you. Sean goes through creating a character. When I ran this for my players, you have playbooks just like you do in Dungeon World or Apocalypse or Monster of the Week or any of those games. You have playbooks, and you download these, and they're basically a framework for your character. they're kind of pre-done characters, but they give you a little bit of choices that you make. Like the Drifter here is an impoverished scoundrel explorer. And a description, you choose one. Is he gaunt? Is he haggard? Is he sickly? Is he filthy? Is he vulgar? Or is he fierce? Is he thick? Is he dapper? Is he sly? Is he meaty? Is he slick? Is he cold? Is he weathered, battered, unkempt, rude, cheerful, or brash? And you choose one of those, and that's a description for your character. So you give them a name, and you choose one of those. You have some assets, you have some skills, and then you have some sort of armor, and you have data points, which goes a little deeper into the game than I want to go in this review, but they're cool stuff. You have some triggers that happen where you get to mark experience if certain things happen. So like for the Drifter, each session, all characters mark XP the first time, and you get to choose one. A bold act fails spectacularly, or a needed item is scrounged up. Because he's the Drifter, kind of lives outside those normal rules of society and law, he can usually find things that other people can't. So you get to mark experience, and the game has a unique experience tracking and how you level up and everything. If you've never played any of the Powered by the Apocalypse games, like the ones I mentioned, do yourself a favor. Either Roll20 or Fantasy Ground, Discord, whatever. Get online, find a group, go to your local game store, do yourself a favor, play one of these games. They are phenomenal, because the reason I say they're phenomenal is it's not D&D, it's not Pathfinder, it's not World of Darkness or anything like that. It's not chucking a shit ton of dice. It's basically telling a story, a collaborative story that you and your friends sit around a table. One of the best Dungeon World games I played in was at MagCon 2-3 years ago. I knew nobody at the table, and we had our playbooks, we sat down and we played, and man, you talk about an amazing story. And I literally stole the mechanics for setting up a game for my Fantasy Age game. I run a Fantasy Age game at conventions, and the first hour of that game is world building. So if someone's playing a dwarf, I ask them, what are the dwarves, what do the dwarves see the world as? What do they view the other races as? And we have a big grease board, and we write everything out. And it's kind of a world building exercise, just like what you would do in like Uncharted World or Dungeon World or any of these other Powered by the Apocalypse games. And so what's nice is your players have a vested interest. In Uncharted Worlds, you have factions, and you get to distribute debt. You start the game with 3 debt between 1, 2, or 3 out of the 4 factions. So basically, one faction is always going to kind of like you, or at least not have any animosity, or you won't owe them anything. And the 4 factions in Uncharted Worlds, and of course, just like any other game, Uncharted Worlds wholly supports the idea of making new factions. But I chose in my game to run with the standard 4, which is the Shards of Za, which are space pirates, smugglers, and criminals. The Nakamoto Horizons, they're a trade consortium, expansionist and rapacious. So basically they just gobble up companies, and they want to own everything. The Ironclad Galactic Navy, regimented and authoritarian. So these guys are, obviously your stiff, we rule the galaxy through might. And then of your Epoch Trust, which are your scientific cabal, they're advanced and they're elitist. So they basically want to basically rule through science and everything that goes along with that. So you get 3 points that you could put it all in Shards of Za and say that criminals are after you, and you're a Han Solo type character, and you owe these guys a bunch of money, and so it invokes role playing, and it gets you to start thinking outside the box. And it's nice because it's not a simple, I rolled to hit, and I made a persuasion test, and now he's my friend forever. And not to say that that's bad in certain games, but that's been typically the flavor of games. You make a persuasion test and you get what you want for the most part. In this game, there are consequences, and it's up to the GM to set those scenes. And the beautiful thing about this is, you tell the player, you walk into the saloon, you walk into the bar, and you see a Zadorian, which is an alien of choice that I use in some of my games. You see a Zidorian. They're very insect-like. They're about 8 feet tall, but they have humanoid faces. Very bland, very blank, but they have an insectoid body with 6 arms, 2 legs and 4 arms. And they're very insectoid. And you see him staring at you with this blank look. What do? Then the player would say what they do. Well, then part of the Apocalypse engine and what's great about these storytelling type games is, so the player says, well, I greet him and I walk up to the bar and I buy a drink. So my job as the GM is then to look at him and go, and it sounds so simple, but you're giving the player authorship. You're giving the player the ability to dictate the scene. And then there's moves in the game. They're called moves, and the moves, you can start, you can start combat. You can meddle. You can brace for impact. You can get involved. That's a great one. When you involve yourself in an ally's move, roll plus the appropriate stat. On a 10 plus, choose one. On a 7 through 9, as above, but you incur a cost, complication, or hard choice in order to get involved. So this guy's over here talking to the alien, the Xenorian, and another guy, your co-player, walks in and just sticks his nose in it. And so he would make a roll and say he'll roll influence, just for argument's sake. So he'll roll 2d6. He'll add, in this case, this character's influence is a -1. So he's going to roll 2d6 and he's going to subtract 1 from it. There can be a few other modifiers, but not a whole lot. It is literally that simple. And so if he rolls a 10 or better, succeeds. He interjects into the conversation. He adds something to it. The story starts growing even bigger. Cool things can happen. If he fails, he still gets to interject something, but I, as the GM, get to stick him with something. I get to make it a little more difficult. Maybe the alien takes offense to him butting in. Maybe in their culture that's a social faux pas, and it looks bad on them. And now the role-playing session gets a little tense because the alien is now aggravated that this other person walked up and started talking when he was not allowed to. And you can go in and you can get deeper and deeper into it, and it's really cool. Of course, being a sci-fi game, there's going to be computers of some sort, and so you have an interface. That's a big skill in this game. And when you access a locked, protected system or network, roll plus interface. On a 10 plus, credentials verified, access granted. The system is now open to interface-based moves, and there's a list of other things you could do. I'm looking for some data on Xenothians, and then go on for there. On a 7 through 9, as above, so you still successfully hacked or interfaced the computer, but a breach has been detected. The owners of the system will likely retaliate soon, either electronically, legally, or physically. And that's left up to the interpretation of the GM and the players. And so the players have as much of a vested interest in the story as the GM does, because the players, basically, I as the GM will give you a framework. You're in the uncharted space. And to use the factions here, which really help you, the ironclad galactic navy is sweeping the sector. What are they looking for? Now, I've just gave the players some agency. I've given the players control of the narrative. I asked the players, what's the ironclad navy looking for? And man, players are their own worst enemies. I stole some plans to a Death Star, and when I made my interface roll, I flubbed it, and they know I took it, and so maybe they have our transponder. Players will do this, dude. They want conflict. They want to be chased and haggard, and just they want to be involved in the story. And it's so neat to run these kind of games and get the players involved, and it's real easy. You got to be real careful when you're a GM in one of these games to not rely on the players too much. In other words, you have to have a framework. You have to have an idea of where your story's going and what you want to happen in that story, and you have to steer creatively. You have to steer the players in the direction that you want them to go without making them feel ramrodded. So. Okay, so the ironclad galactic navy is sweeping the sector looking for your ship what's your ship's name? And then the players will give you the ship name, and you can make a note. You can weave that into the story. The ship actually becomes part of the narrative, and now it's a character in this story. And so there's just a bunch of cool stuff that you can do. And I think Sean, in reading Uncharted Worlds, he did such a great job in this. Because again, and I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again, it takes a lot of chutzpah, a lot of gonards, to put a piece of yourself out there for other people to read and peruse and critique. And I think he did a phenomenal job. The game is well written. It's clear. It's pretty concise. There's a couple areas where it gets a little but the forums, there's a G Plus Uncharted Worlds page. Go out there, check it out on G Plus. It's pretty good. The user base is very helpful. I know when I was getting ready to run my game, I asked a couple questions, and man, I mean, within minutes I had answers on a G Plus page. I'm on Facebook, but I'm more of a G Plus guy. I don't get the ads. I don't get the annoying political rants because I only subscribe to the G Plus channels that I care about, and most of the time, it's all role playing stuff and or baby stuff because, well, I'm a new dad. And the nice part is I get what I'm looking for, and I don't have to weed through the chafe of someone rambling about their latest, what Trump idiocracy has happened. And so it's nice. So do yourself a favor, go check out the G Plus page, join it. I'm on there. I don't post too often because I'm not currently playing this. I would love to, but there's just not enough hours in the day. Right now I'm running a Dragon Age campaign. We just finished up the Dalish Curse. Everybody had a lot of fun. I've advanced the players to level 3, and we're going to add some more dangers, dare I say, and fun stuff. But I will say the stuff that I learned in here and in Dungeon World, I carry over into my other games. I give the players a lot of agency in these non-apocalypse engine games to help me create the world. The nice part about Dragon Age is the world's pretty well created. The Dragon Age core book is phenomenal, or all 3 of the box sets are great. This is not a review of those things, though. This is a review of Uncharted World, and I get sidetracked easy. Shiny squirrel! That's me. You guys know this. If you're new to my channel, you'll learn. Mr. Mean is easily distracted. I'm fortunate enough, though, to have a gaming group that likes playing different games. So a lot of people are in groups where, you've been playing D&D for 20 years, and then you say, oh, we're going to play Starfinder, and everyone's like, oh, I don't want to play Starfinder. I don't want to learn a new game system. My group is awesome. As long as I show up pre-generated characters, they'll play just about anything. And that's the joy here. The playbooks are pretty much already made. You just have to make a couple choices, jot down some notes, you're good to go. And that's what's fun. If you go to conventions and you go to your local gaming convention or your local gaming store, keep an eye out for one of these powered by Apocalypse games, whether it be Uncharted Worlds, Monster of the Week, Empyrean, I believe it's called. There's a ton of them out there now. Do yourself a favor, sit down and play, because you'll have fun. I would guarantee you almost the cost of admission, and if I could pay your admission to the game, if you didn't have fun, I would do that, but I can't because I'm broke. But you know what I mean. It's a good game. They have a new supplement that came out in 2017. I think it's what is it? Far Beyond Humanity, which is a 115-page expansion, and that is out. And you can buy that off of Drive-Thru RPG. I'll make sure I put links down in the bottom of the video or in the show notes to where you can buy this on Drive-Thru RPG. I've yet to see this as a hard copy in a store. I don't know if it's actually been distributed through like Alliance or anybody, or Game Trade Magazine, if they're Diamond Distribution. I think it's print on demand. I definitely want to get a print. I want to get a hard copy. The spiral bound copy is great for the game table, but I would like a nice one to sit up on my game shelf because I do dig the cover. As standard, the art in here is very well done. It ranges the gambit. It's all black and white. It's fairly well done. It is consistent with the style of the book. They've got a couple different artists, so you can definitely tell that there's different art styles, but none of the art is lacking, if I can use that word. It's all appropriate to the setting. Some of it I don't particularly care for. That's just my personal preference, but for the most part, I like it. Sean goes into great detail on character creation, so you can make your own character, which is pretty cool. So if none of the playbooks that are out there spark you or give you any interest, or you have no interest in those playbooks, you can make your own character, and he gives you full detailed rules on how to do that, and they're pretty concise. The nice thing about if you buy it on DriveThruRPG is as he updates this or he makes revisions to it, you can pretty much get it for free. DriveThruRPG will send you an email saying, hey, Sean Gomes has updated Uncharted Worlds. Click this link to download your new copy, which is pretty cool. I really do like that. And when you log in, you can go to your library and you can see what's been updated or not. So that part is really cool. So that's my thoughts on Uncharted World. 2D6 based system, just like Apocalypse Engine, Dungeon World, Monster of the Week. Pretty downright cool game. Very well done, Mr. Sean. If you put out another expansion, send me a copy. I'd love to do a review of it. This is by far one of my favorite games. I want to get back to it. We had some crazy cool characters in my game, and I'm really looking forward to running it again. It was a lot of fun. So babbled on for about 20 minutes now. I hope that gives you an idea of Uncharted Worlds or Far Beyond Human is the expansion. They're both available on DriveThruRPG. I'll put a link in the notes. Do yourself a favor, go pick them up. A, you're showing some love to a small press game designer, and B, you're getting yourself a really good game for a really decent price. As a matter of fact, I think right now it's still on sale for the new year. Watermarked PDF with a hardcover black and white book is $28.75 plus shipping. You can get the soft cover black and white book for $15, or you can get the PDF for $7.50. I paid $10 for it, but you can get it for $7.50. And then Far Beyond Human is PDF is $10, and the hardcover PDF plus the black and white is $30. So for right at $60, you get over 300 pages of gaming goodness. That's pretty, or 290 pages of gaming goodness. That's not too bad. That's as much as one of the new WotC books, and you'll get a cool game, and I think you'll enjoy it. So definitely check it out. Download a preview. See if you like it. If you've played any of the Powered by the Apocalypse games, you're going to be relatively familiar with the mechanics. It's just a different flavor, a different skin. But you'll pick it up in no time, and it's a super easy game to play. And again, it just relies on narrative storytelling. And I've seen even the shyest people come out of their shell. One of my players, he's a young kid. He's only 17. He's pretty quiet. And all he wants to do is kill things. And he played a mercenary soldier in this game. But when he says he does something, and I look at him and I go, and it just brought him out of his shell. And he's a good kid, but he's really shy. And so it made him talk, and it made him be proactive and productive in the game. And that was cool to see. And I really enjoyed that. And he still got to be the murder hobo, which is what he likes to play. But of course it had consequences, and he had fun with it. And, I like engaging young minds. There's cool stuff out there besides video games. And, this young kid is a gamer, and he loves his video games. He's always watching videos about video games. But it's nice that every Saturday he sits down around the table with his mom and his dad, and we play RPGs. And he's always involved. A lot of times he gets a little flighty, but if it's something he's down for, he's invested, and he pays attention, and he reads. And it's nice to see in today's youth that there are some kids that still appreciate the art of storytelling. So anyway, that's my thoughts and my review on Uncharted World. It's a buy in my book. Go out and get it, especially you can get it for $7.50 right now. You can't beat that with a stick. You get a full game, 175 pages with art for $7.50. Man, even if you get it and you read it and you don't like it, you can definitely steal ideas for other sci-fi games. If you're a Pathfinder or Starfinder player, there's some cool stuff in here for Starfinder. So you've got awesome source material that's cheaper than any Pathfinder book you'll buy. So anyway, that's Mr. Mean giving you my thoughts on this gorgeous sunny day. I'm going to go watch my Saints hopefully beat the crap out of the Vikings and see how that happens. So I'm rooting for the Saints. As always, peace and hair grease. And Mr. Mean always says, be nice.